So we are talking today about a different way of looking at Islamabad, where we want to highlight the assets of our town as a high-tech valley uh, of Pakistan. Because there are a lot of talk about different high-tech valleys. Normally, when you talk about this, it's about Silicon Valley, but there's a lot of other uh, places in the world which are local high-tech valleys. If you look at Europe, here I have a list of about 60 different technical clusters in Europe, and they are all of these are on the map, and there are so many other places in the world, and there is a certain ecosystem working within each of these clusters. And if you look at uh, what's happening in Eastern Europe, these are recent. Last 20 years has seen a lot of tech centers develop along this line in Eastern Europe, and I have listed about 12 of these. But there are a lot more coming up in different other places, and I thought that we should start looking at our own town as a high-tech center. And high-tech center, basically, when we talk about it, is how we bring the business uh, forward to a point where the business is looked at as the center forward of the economy. It has certain building blocks, and here is a little index of the what we need to discuss. There are the local strengths of an urban center, the technological enablers of that center, the entrepreneurial class of the center, what the government is doing to enable all the other players, and then it's the power of the place. As I go along, I will be discussing uh, each of these topics. And the other thing is, it's about the clusters. Clusters have a certain power which standalone industries do not depict, and they create competitive advantages. And those and there are several ways of looking at it, and several factors: the demand conditions of the economy and the economy surrounding. Then the firms which have a strategy, but they are also depict a certain rivalry to each other, so they do better than the company next door, and they keep coming up with more innovations. Then there are factor conditions. These are like enabling conditions, from logistics to IT backbone, and and different enabling factors from the government policy. And of course, then there are the related sporting industries which support that cluster, which are not maybe not so high tech, but these clusters depend on those those sporting industries. All these elements are already uh, available in Islamabad, particularly in the electromechanical and IT and biotech sector. These we find that they are already here, and we need to start looking at them in that particular way. For example, whatever you see on the 23rd day parade is manufactured within 100-kilometer radius of our zero point. And these are just two pictures, but right here we make jet fighters, and we make single engine planes. And because of these, we have high tech HR, we have universities, and we have a cluster which backs up all this manufacturing by the big units. So the private sector, high tech cluster, and then all this interaction, if we let loose a certain interaction in a particular way, it can lead to high-tech products being produced for the global market. So unless you go to the global market with your high-tech, you really don't reap the benefits of uh, high-tech. So on the private sector side, we have this Pakistan Aerospace Council. This is a high-tech industries cluster. It is a cluster composed of tech companies from all over Pakistan, but a lot of them are located in and around Islamabad. And my friend, Dr. Haroon Qureshi, who is the president of this Pakistan Aerospace Council, he will be speaking more on this. So I will not go into more details on this. But then if you start looking, we have defense contractor firms, we have universities, defense industrial complexes, diverse industries and private and public sector, R&D organizations, telecoms, road infrastructure and accessibility, an international airport, international brand, eating and meeting places, lots of 5-star hotels, 4-star hotels, 3-star hotels. So all the elements in a way are here. And if you start looking at a 100-kilometer radius from 0 point, I have only mentioned on this map a very few of them. It would have been too dense a map and probably not so intelligible. But just to give you an idea, the spaces in green are within the 30-kilometer radius. The spaces in amber are within 60 kilometers. And spaces beyond this, like Kamra and some universities, they are within, and many other installations, which probably I cannot mention here because of space. They are all around this area. So we start looking at what are the elements available. Then there's an important part is the human capital which is available, because without the right human capital, we cannot be doing anything meaningful. And there's a critical mass of high-tech HR as well as high-tech entrepreneurs available in our town because of we already have several globally connected IT firms. We have young retirees from defense industrial complex, and they are available for their second or third job. Then high-end engineering manufacturing firms are already located here. And quite interestingly, we have 60 pharma manufacturing companies. And in the 30 universities which I mentioned, we are producing every year many thousands of fresh, energetic graduates who are looking for jobs, who are looking for a future, and who are looking for opportunities. When they get frustrated, they don't get the opportunities, they take different routes, and a lot of them leave Pakistan and try to find their future abroad. So if we do the right planning, we can retain them here in Pakistan. Because really, when somebody goes to work in another country, Pakistan spent all the money on bringing him up, but then he is contributing to a different economy. So that is bad economics. So we must see that all this demographic bonus that we have, how can we use it for our own economy and to grow the economy? Then we have industrial areas in and around Islamabad, starting from Gudoon to Hatar to Wa Industrial Area to Aviation City, Kamra, I-9, I-10 Industrial Area, Bahuta Triangle, Rawat Industrial Estate, and in between there are several other smaller pockets. So that is something which we should spec in, that these are all the sporting industries. Here are a lot of different types of industries, which actually either another very interesting part is Islamabad Airport. It is just starting out, but it has a plan for a 700-acre business park, which will be housing 5-star, 4-star, 3-star hotels, as well as businesses. And this is a very important part of the jigsaw puzzle for creating a high-tech environment. It is very much in place. Then, interestingly, we already have a good sprinkling of global businesses in Pakistan. British American Tobacco is resident in Pakistan for probably 60, 70 years or maybe even longer. Then we have Merck, biotech giant, and Jazz, Murray Brewery, Zong, Etter, Ufone, Telenor, KSP, and there are several others. For this is just to get us thinking that some of these elements, these are also very important elements because these companies, when they are working here, they are creating high-tech manpower also. They are the first employers at this moment, and from here it starts to permeate into the rest of the economy. Skills and management skills and jobs, etc. So then a new breed of entrepreneurs has also spawned in Islamabad, thanks to people like Dr. Arshad Ali and many other friends. Rear Admiral Mushtaq is here online with us, and people like him, they have created conditions in universities which have led to many younger graduates coming out into their own business. And so we have a different class of people here, just a few of them. But if you look at Open Islamabad, the open chapter of Islamabad, then you will find a lot many other people here. And this is a different class from our traditional businessmen like me. Then, as I mentioned in the index, there's the power of the place. I come across many foreigners in the diplomatic circuit who say that Islamabad is their best posting because they like the air and they like the environment. And when they are coming here from some other capitals in the world where there's more congestion and more hassle, so they find Islamabad very interesting to live in, and they really feel sorry when they're leaving. So we have to see what is the power of Islamabad as a place, and why would somebody like to locate? Why would a company like to locate to Islamabad? Or some people would like to come and locate to Islamabad. So what do we offer here? There's very good clean air, lots of eating and meeting places. Road network is one of the best, particularly from Islamabad to all this 100-kilometer area. We have excellent motorway connections, and within Islamabad also the road network is excellent. So then urban housing and accommodation is going up at great speed. This will bring down the rents for people and make it more affordable to live in Islamabad. We have gyms, clubs, golf, polo, mountain trail, mountain resorts, and a globally exposed population who speak English. This is another very important part. So this is what Islamabad offers by the way of quality of life. Just to show you, these are places where you find people sitting around coffee tables, discussing business and discussing technology. So these are essential elements of any tech town. Then we have something which I call technological enablers. Here you have this National Center for Physics, Pakistan Academy of Sciences, Pakistan Atomic Energy Commission, COMSTEC, PCST, PCSIR, NARC, NESCOM, and 30 universities with their laboratories and their intelligentsia and faculty, and a lot of activity going on in them. And then, of course, the Higher Education Commission, which funds research. So these are all available in this town. We are fortunate that it is here, but maybe, in a place, another Pakistani town is not so gifted. So we will have to sort of recognize these gifts. And this list is not complete. There are a lot of other specialized bodies which are there, but somehow they don't seem to be playing their part in the economy the way we would like them to do. So then Along with the technical enablers, we have the business support organizations like Federation of Pakistan Chambers of Commerce, Islamabad Chamber of Commerce, and Rawalpindi Chamber of Commerce, Pakistan Atomic Energy Commission, Pakistan Aerospace Council, Engineering Development Board, National Productivity Organization, SMIDA, Pakistan Horticulture Board, and very, very important, National Agriculture Research Council. They do a lot of good work, but somehow they don't let the world know about it. So all the time, there are people looking at the land they are sitting on, but they never, people are not informed what great work NARC is doing. So, but NARC is there, and like I said earlier, all of these people need to play their part in making this valley as a high-tech valley. And of course, when it gets to global business, we have the Trade Development Authority of Pakistan also sitting here. Ladies and gentlemen, we have here 10 software technology parks in the private sector. Now, this is private sector initiative. They have not gone to the government for funding. They found a need and they found an opportunity, and they have invested their own money in creating excellent infrastructure. These technology parks are full to the brim. It's very difficult to get space in them, and they are not neither funded or nor are they subsidized. Like but that just shows that there is a thriving business population in Islamabad who are looking for working space. And these technologies, 10 parts are already there, and many other people are converting their premises to technology parks. Then another interesting thing is that we have some world-class co-working spaces in Islamabad. The Hive, for example, a lot of you must have heard. I was very impressed to see, and then Hive has now expanded many times, and then there are others. So these elements are already available. Then Dr. Haroon Qureshi will talk more on this, but just to put everything in perspective, the engineering and manufacturing and assembly of type of industries are already here. And for aerospace manufacturing and for sporting manufacturing, for camera itself, or camera vendors, for the jet fighters, missile technology and its subparts at PMO, Pakistan Ordnance Factory, Heavy Industries Tekla for tanks and armored vehicles. NESCOM is the granddaddy of a lot of scientific work. So all these are also available. Air Weapons Complex. So these organizations, they not only produce defense hardware, they produce technology, and they develop a very important human resource. Our current problem is that we are not creating dual use or derivatives of technology for medical purposes or for commercial purposes. So, but when we start to work together and some of this high-tech manpower becomes available in one way or the other to the private sector, we can be spawning a lot of products and processes which would have a global commercial value. Then another interesting phenomena which has just happened in a way that probably we were not watching, but it has become a big phenomena. It's that Islamabad has around 60 pharma companies, and a lot of these pharma companies are owned or managed by a very highly educated class of people. And if they get certain type of support, they could be a big player in the global pharma biotech market. And incidentally, companies like Shaheen Chemist and D. Watson are two very unique distribution businesses in Islamabad. If you look for such a distribution system in Lahore or Karachi, you will not find it. And this is it is an asset to have people like this who are very well organized for distribution. Because if you distribution is a very important part of any business system. Then, and for biotech, we have several universities here who are supporting biotech education and creating the right people for biotech industry. We have National Institute of Health Sciences. Again, we have National Agricultural Research Council. So when these start to work together, then these 60 pharma companies will not be alone in what they are doing. They would be supported by the other side in a way that they create more and better products, and they start to become players in the global market. At this currently, Pakistan is basically an importing country. Everything, we are a client country for defense, we are a client country for medicine, for everything. So the basic idea is that we create a high-tech environment, a high-tech business environment, and we export to the world from here. And these are not usual products. These are high-tech products which are priced also in a different and a higher category. So what is the role of the government in this? Sorry, I lost it. So what is the role of the government? We think that government and whoever, if we start looking at a 20 billion export target for Islamabad, 100 kilometer radius. To do that, we remodel the outlook for this town. And one very good way which the other people, other countries have done is they bring in a couple of global giants to work in their economy, and those giants, they create vendors, and the vendor industry learn from the giants, and then the upward cycle begins. A very good model is Poland Aviation Valley, and they just brought in an engine manufacturer from USA. Mansoor साहब, क्या नाम है engine manufacturer का? Lycoming and the other guy. So they brought in the thing, Pratt and Whitney. Yes. Whitney. So yeah. So they brought in Pratt and Whitney and gave them a blank check for whatever the facilities they needed. But just one Pratt and Whitney spawned 250 vendor industries. And those vendor industries, when they became comfortable working with Pratt and Whitney, they expanded to the rest of European aerospace market. And now Poland has its thriving aviation valley, and the whole country is very proud of it. But it was spawned by this thing. So the government has to go in a way where it looks at some people, some key, just like a queen bee, you look at making them comfortable, and then the rest follows. And then we need to do a gap analysis to discover the missing links in our chain of where we want to leave. What all is holding us back? We need to do a gap analysis. To do that, we have so many of these foreign companies already residing in Islamabad that they would be able to sort of point out their, let's say, problems or barriers, and we could adjust our ease of doing business by listening to them. And then very important is that we should market Islamabad as a tech valley of Pakistan. So when we go to market, then we put together all our assets and make them to work together, and then show this to the world and show this to the big investors and big companies in the world, and give them reasons why they should come and reside and work in Islamabad. So for this, I would request that the mayor and the DC, they should put on enabler caps, business enabler caps. So usually it's these are about upkeep of the town, repair, maintenance, or law and order. But I think our city management needs to go beyond this and be the number one leading people for promoting high tech business. And to do that, they would need to train public servants to become business enablers. So that would be something which we should look at to work with our bureaucracy and our lawmakers to look at these to-do points. Ladies and gentlemen, a very important part of the whole picture is the enablers of our town, the city fathers, our mayor, our chairman of CDA, and their important people, the commissioner and his staff. They are, among many other government functionaries, very important enablers for this city. And they are also part of the creative class. If they think creatively, they create the environment, then we can really have a thriving city. And then another important factor is marketing. We need to market Islamabad systematically. And we need to create a vision for our town. And also we need to create a balance with the defense focus of Pakistan. We must balance defense focus with the economy focus, because a thriving economy is the best defense. Otherwise, we are funding our defense from loans, and which is in any case not the best way of doing things. So with this, I thank you very much, and just want to leave a thought that nations are not poor because of lack of resources, but due to lack of vision. So I thank you very much, and I look forward to a more exhaustive dialogue between all the stakeholders, and we work together to make Islamabad a thriving tech town and a high tech valley which should be supporting the economy of Pakistan in a very, very big way, and to make our mark on the global landscape. Thank you very much.